Welcome back to Coast AM. My guests are Michael and Robin Mastro, and we're talking about Vastu Shastra, which is basically yoga for the home based on a 7 to 10,000 year old practice that was originated in India. And it comes from the same wisdom as yoga and meditation and Ayurveda. It's really the first science of medicine, which is Ayurveda. And I wanted to ask you, Michael, we were talking about altars and about organizing the house for flow and to release stress and bring in some clarity. But what about global suffering? When you're feeling helpless about global situations that are happening, is there a way that you could set up some type of a prayer space or altar to help alleviate global suffering?
Yeah, I think, as it's been said for many thousands of years, peace starts within. We all have an effect on the peace in the world, and wherever there are trouble spots, it's a reflection of all of us. So whatever we can do to achieve a peace within ourselves makes a difference. And setting up an altar in your home and having this intention that there may be peace in this planet is really important. I feel like it always comes back to everything is energy, everything is made of the five elements, and when we really truly understand that we are all connected by these five elements. We all walk on the same planet Earth. We all drink the same water. We breathe the same air. We feel the same light of the same sun and exist in the same space. We are one light. We're one energy. And whenever anything on this planet is harmed, we all feel it. So the more that we can understand that and create peace within ourselves, that'll have a rippling effect, throughout the world. But setting an intention for peace on your altar is very, very powerful.
So that is definitely a good thing to do. Robin, what types of elements would work for that?
Say that again. It cut out a little bit.
What type of element on your altar would work for a peace intention?
Well, I was going to say, I wanted to say something about what you're talking about and to tell you a little story, if I can do that, and then we can come back to your question.
Of course.
We've been creating peace altars for over 20 years when there have been dire situations like what is happening right now in the world. Mm-hmm. And there was a time way back, I can't even remember when, but there was a war happening in Kosovo. Do you remember when that was happening?
A long time ago, yes.
It was 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. We came together as a group in our home, invited friends, and they invited friends, and we gathered together. There was probably about 50 of us in our home, and we created this beautiful three-dimensional peace altars. We used, to create a big altar like that, we used like milk cartons that we got, those big shipping cartons that we got that milk comes in, and threw sheets over it and put the elements in their directions, and then everybody brought something to place on the altar. And people explained what it was. It was so beautiful. And then we chanted and we meditated on peace for the pilots that had been downed over Kosovo, U.S. pilots, and they were being held prisoners. And the very next day they were released. And I don't know why that happened so quickly, because as a country, we were very, very concerned about these men. And yet I feel in some way we had something as a community coming together with intention. I feel like we made some sort of an impact energetically. And because this is going on now, with these wars and this unrest in our country and in the world. After the first of the year, here in our area in Southern California, and actually it will be in Encinitas, we are doing a community gathering at a large yoga studio, and we are doing the same thing. We are coming together for personal, community, and global peace, and creating another altar, and people are bringing their items to offer to the altar. And I would say to people, do this in your homes. Bring your friends together. Create an altar. Just have the elements, earth, air, water, fire, and space, in their proper place. And have people bring mementos to place on the altar to charge with their intent for world peace, peace within and peace within your communities. And take those pieces of charged items back home and place them on your personal altar. And I feel like this is the time that we need to come together in community to do this kind of work, to really make an effort.
Yes.
And
it helps for if you feel helpless or feel like there's no ends to these wars. It's a way to at least intentionally feel like you're making some type of a difference. I'm going to go to our calls. We've got Eric in Austin, Texas. Eric, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, Lisa. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Tell me a little bit about, you have a question for Michael or Robin Mastro?
Yeah, I do, actually. I've got two questions, really, but I just had the house feng shuied. I bought the house about, 5 or 6 months ago, and it has been, it's a charming little house, but the problem is that it's been very much of a money pit. I sunk quite a bit of money trying to do home improvement repairs, and I'm still not done. There's still a lot of major systems that have some major problems and stuff like that. And not only that, it seems that work has really just been an energetic, black hole, as it were. It's something that I love doing, but it's just I barely have any energy to do anything, it seems like. And I'm wondering what in the heck is going on here. Like I said, I had it feng shuied, but it just doesn't seem to be doing much.
Great question. I mean, what's the difference between feng shui and Vastu Shastra?
So I've practiced both feng shui and Vastu and just found quicker, more lasting results with Vastu. The aim of feng shui and Vastu is the same, to keep energy moving, because if it gets stuck, depending on where it gets stuck, it affects some aspect of the family's life. There are many, many schools of feng shui. Most are based on the black hat, which is the bagua, or these different parts of our lives, relationships, health, finances, and career, are based on where you enter the house. Vastu is different in that it is totally based on the directions, no matter where you are on the planet or how you enter the house. So the science of Vastu was actually carried over the mountains from India to China about 2,500 years ago. And it was adapted to the local cultural and climatic conditions of the time. And some of the basic principles of Vastu were changed because of things that were happening in China at that time. They were having these invasions from Mongols from the north and some sandstorms coming from the east. And so they changed a lot of the principles, but the goal is the same. And I can't fault feng shui, but I just, again, find quicker, more lasting results with the Vastu.
Now, what specifically could Eric do to help with the sluggish energy that he's experiencing and the financial drain?
Well, I would like to look at his floor plan to see where the energy is getting stuck. But he could do the simple things that we talked about, adding a moving water to the northeast part of the house, adding some Himalayan salt lamp in the southeast part of the house, adding plants in the southwest, and a mobile chime, a hanging chime in the northwest. It could be outside the house as well. And this will help balance the five elements to, move any of that stuck energy so he can complete the projects that he started. But yeah, usually the reason these remodels create big energy suck and money suck is because of the elements are out of balance.
Does that make sense to you, Eric? I mean, that you can use the compass on your phone and look for where the northeast is and just simply
as a matter of fact, I do know where the northeast is. As a matter of fact, the northeast is where my treatment and meditation room are, and of course my office is in the southeast corner, and I have a salt lamp, a big old fire bowl, as a matter of fact, in my office, which is in the southeast corner. And but I think I might go for some wind chimes. I might have to look out there because those would probably go good on the front deck, anyways. So. And
that's in the northwest corner.
Actually, the northwest corner would be on the corner where my garage is. So it would have to be on that corner of the house, which is, and the deck is, or the front deck rather, is more or less on the the southwest corner.
So if there's a little bit of an overhang and at the garage, you can hang some wind chimes off of the corner of the overhang there at the garage. Feel free to Eric. It's Eric. You can send me a floor plan, and I could direct you further. It would to see what's actually going on, to see where your toilets are and your fire elements are in the house.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, I have a property survey. I couldn't get a hold of the floor plans, unfortunately. I'm not sure how to get a hold of those. I could give some information as far as where they are, maybe send some pictures and stuff like that.
That's great.
Yeah, even just draw a square on a piece of paper and put T for toilet, S for stove, etc., F for fireplace and furnace and things like that. You don't have to make anything, elaborate. Just something very simple. And from that, I can tell. In fact, that's what we do. Is people from all over the world just send us a little sketch of their plant, their house, and or office, and from that we analyze where the energy is getting stuck, and then make recommendations based on that.
That's great. And then how do people get a hold of you, Michael and Robin?
You just go to our website, VastuCreations.com, or feel free to email me directly, Michael Mastro, Vastu@gmail.com. So it's MichaelMastro, and then the word Vastu, Vastu @gmail.com.
That was really nice of you. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. And good luck, Eric. And let us know how that goes, okay?
Will do. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks. I do have a question, Michael or Robin, about health and about where to place things for vitality, for health, or maybe if you're going through a healing crisis, where would be a good place to enhance good health in the house?
So the southeast is the fire element, and the fire element is what really controls our life force energy, our vitality, and our good health. And if for some reason the fire element is out of balance, then that's when we start to experience some dis-ease in the body.
Okay.
And so, and it could be something simple like, we haven't talked about clutter, but if there is a health issue, I would have your listeners look in the southeast part of the house and just see if there isn't a closet or a room or a garage or someplace in the attic or the basement where there is many things that aren't organized, and try to get that organized, because clutter creates stress. Energy gets stuck wherever there is clutter. And if it happens to be in the southeast, then it could affect the health.
Interesting. Yep, that would make a lot of sense. Well, we I definitely want to talk with you a little bit about the idea of wearing these, not altars, but different types of things that you could wear that could protect you as well. Um, does that work the same as an altar?
Yes, that's a very interesting question. And I'm also an astrologer because, and an Ayurvedic consultant because these sister sciences are so intertwined. And so, from looking at someone's birth chart, birth astrology chart, you can tell what planets are affecting their wealth, their health, their career, and relationships. And sometimes those planets are weak for some reason in their chart, just depending on where they're placed and how they're affected by other planets. And so we have what's called a kavash, which is a silver locket made in Bali. And we place inside there certain things to strengthen those weak planets based on someone's chart, so that will help balance out their health and the different aspects of their life, their career, their finances, and relationships. So it's like a wearable altar.
Very interesting. It's called a kavash, and this is something that's pretty...
Yeah, kavash means protective shield, but it contains these specific elements that will support improved health, finances, career, and relationships.
And the elements are the same for everyone, or are they individualized?
So they are individualized based on someone's chart. And you just have to see what's in their chart and what needs to be strengthened according to where these planets are in someone's chart. So I make them specifically after looking at someone's astrological chart.
Great. Good to know. All right. We will be right back. We're going to take another quick break and come back. You can, again, give us a call if you have challenges with your home, living environment, health, office, whatever it is. And Michael and Robin can help you with that. We will be right back. You're listening to Coast AM. Welcome back to Coast AM. I am Lisa Garr, and my guests are Michael and Robin Mastro. They are the foremost practitioners of Vastu Shastra in North America, which is this 7,000 to 10,000 year old practice of yoga for the home, basically, is what it is. It helps rearrange energy and for manifestation and for clearing energy and even increasing overall health. And we have calls coming in, which is great. I want to get to your calls in just a second. I wanted to first ask Michael a little bit about, or Robin as well, what's the biggest thing people come to you for that they're having a challenge with? Like, what's the number one thing that people have challenges with?
It's probably relationship. I mean, it's like four things.
Okay.
Relationships, their career, their health, their finances. It's always one of those. And for all of us, no matter how wealthy or stable we think our lives are, there's always something that comes out of the blue.
Have you noticed that it has been more intense lately, or?
Oh yes.
Why?
Yes. We are ending a very difficult, energetic period for humanity, and on the winter solstice, we're making a big shift, and it is very polarizing for us and very painful, and a lot of people are exiting the planet now, but things are going to get better next year. I can feel that. I feel like the consciousness on the planet, we're all feeling like we can't, if somebody is suffering, if somebody is hurt, or we're killing people or whatever, it's like we're all feeling that we're suffering because of all of the chaos. But we kind of needed to know that, because we always kind of we see ourselves as safe here, but now it feels like it's here. you know?
Mm.
And it's like it's in our face, and it's in our face for a reason, because it needed to get personal for us to wake up.
Now, do you really feel that, like, astrologically the shift is going to make a difference? Is there,
I think the astrology for next year is better than the last 2 or 3 years that we've had. I mean, we've been through some rough times.
yes.
And a lot of isolation,
Yes.
Financial confusion, political hostility. There's been a lot of division.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we are coming to that tipping point where people are becoming aware that they can't blame it on other people. We have to work together. We have to find a way to accept each other's differences and work in community and be more collaborative. We can't do it alone. There can't be somebody at the top and the rest of the people are suffering. That dynamic is changing.
Mm-hmm.
And it can't be the powerful people making all the decisions that are affecting all of us. We all have to, within our small family structures, within our intimate community structures, our friends, our larger community, we have to have a voice, and we have to do it from a place of love and not judgment and anger, because it hasn't gotten us anywhere.
Mm. Well, that's definitely true. We see that all over the place. Let's go to our callers. We've got Joe, who is our first-time caller in Connecticut. Hi, Joe. Do you have a question for Michael or Robin Mastro?
Oh yes, I have a couple of questions if I have the time. I'm just having a hard luck with the home I have right now. There's so much work that has to be done. I cannot get loans. I have good credit, but I'm not getting explanations. I'm getting a lot of people that want to buy the house cheap, and even realtors are not helping with the sale. I've been trying to sell the house for a year. It's a piece of property of 1 3/4 acres. It's on a lake. It's cute, but I really want to just move out of the area. And it's in New York, upstate New York. It's about 2 hours from New York City. It's not really far up there. But the real estate is very high up there now, and I feel like I'm being lowballed.
Well, question about that, because sometimes it's energetic around the house sale. Michael or Robin, what can you do to help move the energy of a sale? I think that's possible, right?
Yeah, we work with lots of real estate agents all over the United States for houses that aren't moving in different markets. And there are some things that we can do to balance the energies in the house to attract a good buyer at a good price in a short period of time. And it involves, exactly what we've been talking about, balancing those 5 elements so that when someone walks into the house, they feel like, wow, this is a place I can picture myself staying.
I see. So it's a matter of moving that flow again. Is there a certain ritual that you can do to maybe sell a house, or I know that that's usually a sticking point. Are you aware of one?
Yeah, well, as Robin was talking about with the altars, you can make that an intention, create an altar and make that an intention to just say, I'm grateful for a good buyer coming at the right time, at a good price, quickly, and see it as it already happened and feel it in your body. It's the feeling that connects with attracting that energy to your house that will manifest that desire.
Yes. Celebrate it. Yes. Now, is there on your website, is there a way that you go over these directions and the altar, the northeast, the northwest, southeast? I think I remember seeing that once on the VastuCreations.com website.
So the listeners can go to, I think, a link that's been posted somewhere that will take them to a free ebook on Vastu that goes over everything we've been talking about. So it's very clear and it's beautifully illustrated as well.
It's linked on the Coast to Coast website under your names. You just click on Michael and Robin Mastro, or you could go to VastuCreations.com. And there is an ebook there that you can get, and that'll help with the directions and so forth, and
Yes.
how to help people feel lighter.
They can also go to our Instagram page. There's other free things on that as well that they can learn more about the altars. There's actually a free download for the Abundance Altar, which is another way to really kind of stimulate the source to get things moving for like a sale of a house, or if you're in between jobs, or if you find there's more money going out than coming in, that'll also help stimulate that abundant energy to get flowing. And that's just, it's like the symbol sign for @ and then Vastu Creations after you put in Instagram.com.
Okay. All right. Let's go back to our phones here. We've got Renee from Florida. Renee, do you have a question for Michael or Robin Mastro?
My husband, he had cancer for about a year and a half. And he came home and died at our house. And
I'm so sorry. Sorry for your loss,
I'm
Renee.
just wondering what I can do to get the energy out of here. And also, I have 2 dogs. And so I'm wondering, I mean, I know one of my dogs, he knows the sound of my husband's truck and all of that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And Dutchie, she would like to stay in the house and not take some walks sometimes, and she would look at my husband, and she would go sit with him on the couch, and she does that sometimes, and I know that they miss him. So what can I do to move the energy on from there?
Or balance it. Yes, great question. Great question.
There's this very powerful thing, and Lisa, you know this as well. And it's whenever you have a thought of someone that's passed, you want to shift the energy, you say to yourself, just to yourself, and it can be silently. It's not necessarily out loud, just in your mind. I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. This is a very powerful mantra that shifts energy in the seen or unseen. And it's worked for thousands of people on the planet. And so I suggest you try it. Again, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you.
It's the Ho'oponopono prayer.
Yes. We create our own reality, and so our thoughts have a lot of power. And a lot of the things that we experience that are not pleasant in our life are created because we're not forgiving ourselves for certain things. And this phrase is very, very powerful. It's had a very powerful impact on my life. And whenever I'm feeling some stress with someone who's passed away, or a negative thought about it, or unpleasant thought, or people that are alive and feeling some stress in a relationship, I just say this to myself, and it totally shifts the energy, and it frees up people who are stuck that have passed as well.
That's a good idea. And I mean, I understand about the dogs too, that they are missing him, and it definitely takes time, but maybe reassociating that prayer with clearing energy and harmonizing the space is both remembering and clearing energy as well. So good question. Great question. I wanted to, let's go back to the phones. We've got Richard from Twin Falls, Idaho. Hi, Richard. How are you tonight?
Hello.
Hello. Do you have a question for Michael?
Yes.
Or Robin?
Curious if they knew anything about the negative ions and how they say negative ions in the air will make people happy. Negative ions in water will make you just more buoyant. And if they know anything about that, like the wind blowing off the ocean,
full of negative ions. They say that makes you very happy.
I love that smell. Yes, that's a great scent.
Yes, and this goes back to what Robin was saying earlier. So the negative ions are generated when you are in places where the prana is very high, the life force energy, like going to a waterfall or like feeling the breeze off the ocean. Whereas if you are in a crowded subway station underground, there's not much natural light or natural fresh air, and those negative ions aren't there. So we're all very, very sensitive to the energies. And when the 5 elements are out of balance, those negative ions are not there. And when they are in balance, the negative ions are there, and we feel very uplifted. That's why we feel certain ways when we walk into certain houses, and to generate that, a moving water is very powerful. And if you place it in the northeast area of your house, that'll make a huge difference.
So water does make a big difference. It's interesting because it can either take energy out or bring energy flow in. It just depends on
where it's placed.
That's a really tricky one. Is there a way to improve sleep or better sleep in the house by, like, in a bedroom area? What's the best way to have a restful sleep?
Yeah, so we've been involved in, or I personally have been involved in a couple of sleep studies where they have 50 patients recovering from similar surgeries in a hospital, and then after the surgery, they set it up for 25 of the beds to have their headboards on a north wall and 25 to have their headboards on the south wall. And what would they find in a very short period of 3 days, the patients with their headboards on the north wall are having less REM cycles and shorter REM cycles. REM cycles are an indicator of deep sleep. And the reason is positive magnetic energy comes from the north, and our body is like a magnet. The positive polarity is in our head. So if we're sleeping with our head to the north, or our headboard on a north wall, feet pointing south, it's like bringing two positive ends of magnets together. They repel. So it disturbs the blood flow, circulation, and digestion. So one simple thing that you can look at to improve your sleep is make sure that your headboard is not on a north, northeast, or northwest wall. Any other direction is fine. And south is particularly good if you have a health issue because it completes that magnetic cycle in the body. East and west are fine as well.
What if there's a window on the south wall and a sliding glass door?
This comes up a lot where it's not possible to move your bed. And I suggest something that's kind of strange, but give it a try, is just throw your pillow on the other end of the bed and try it for a couple weeks. First couple days might seem, take a little bit of adjustment, but 99% of the people I recommend this to wake up feeling more refreshed and having better sleep if they just try that.
I always feel putting the pillow on the other side of the bed feels like you're sloped down or something. I know that's not true, but that's great. No, that's fantastic. There's so many things that you can do, and I appreciate so much that you spent the time with us tonight to talk about how flow is possible. It doesn't really, there's no excuses for things like anymore where you feel like, oh, this is happening to me and I'm a victim to this. You can change the course of energy with these ancient systems. They've been used for thousands and thousands of years and throughout history, and we've seen it, through ancient artifacts as well. There are altars of honoring, altars of changing energy. There's ways to create new things in your life where you can really enhance manifestation spaces and also even end and alleviate suffering. So the website is called VastuCreations.com, and you can also email Michael Mastro, Vastu@gmail.com. Thank you both so much.
You're so
Thank you,
welcome.
Lisa.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure talking to you both, and we will be back in the next hour with Derek Rydell. When we come back, I'm Lisa Garr. You're listening to Coast AM.